Kids, good afternoon from NYChessKids. Again, Saudin here. Now, this is a game number 3 in our Slav defense, and I choose this game because the world champion Alekhine played with the black side, and you'll see it's really like a good game. So let's see. This is a real Slav defense. It started with knight f6 and d5, and here we have a Slav defense. That's the setup that we've learned in the theory, right? Now e3, right? Instead of knight c3, white plays e3. Right? Now black can continue with a pawn to e6, and that's a different opening, right? It's called Meran opening, but here, Alexander Alekhine played bishop f5, so we have this Slav defense setup with a c6 and d5. So this game is clearly different. Here we are not playing f5 and e6, no stone wall. This bishop is out to f5, and if you like this kind of setup, then you can play that as well. Now, knight goes to d2 and e6, bishop e2. Knight e7. Let's see how so the opening is about to be finished, right? Both sides are developing the pieces. If you look at the black side, it looks very nice. Look, all the pieces are developed. Bishop on f5 is an excellent piece. Bishop on d6, very nice piece. Now white plays pawn to c5. I'm not very big fan of this move because the bishop on c1 is gonna really have a hard time to get into the game. This bishop on f5 is very powerful, so move like knight h4 is definitely something that white should consider, taking the bishop on f5. Now after c5, bishop just goes back to c7, and not much changed here, right? b4. Now it's clear white wants to push the pawn to b5 and create some kind of action on the queen side. Now the problem is with this kind of blocked center, right? With this pawn chain that white has. Like I said before, the bishop on c1 cannot get into the game. It's very hard for this bishop to start playing. Also, the attack on the king side is possible here because look, bishop is aiming at h2, and this very powerful e4 space outpost for the knight, right? So Alekhine jumps with the knight to e4. And one of the rules in chess is if you want to attack, right? If you want to attack on the king side, you have to have the control over the center, and in this case, you do have that control because knight on e4 is allowing you to start the action on the king side. Pay attention how the world champion did not make a castling here. He clearly had the plan here to attack on the king side. Now, what's the reason that he can keep this king on e8? The reason is that the game is so blocked. The center is blocked. Look at the pawns in the center. So king is absolutely fine in the center. There's no attack on the king, so king can survive on e8, and it's probably the best place for a king right now, even better than making a castling to queen side, right? Because it's not so safe on a queen side because this attack with a b5 can come. So better to keep the king in the center. So now white decided to take on e4, remove that, and look at that. See, the black is not taking with a bishop, but taking with a pawn, because this pawn now on e4 is going to allow black to attack on the king side. Very, very powerful pawn, useful, right? Because it's removing the knight. Because if the knight has to move back, then this pawn on h2 is becoming much weaker, right? There is this attack, and now white will have to be very, very careful. Right. Now watch this next move. This is a part of this strategy, right? H5. This is an attacking move, right? How do you learn to play moves like this? Look, again, pay attention. Black is not castling. I'm sure many people would just go here and say, "Oh, let's castle," right? But but h5 is an attacking move. The black is trying to bring the rook into the game, and he wants to actually move forward with his pawn, right? So make a lot of pressure on the king side, and white clearly did not handle this very well. White played f4. The idea is to block the bishop on c7, right? Now black plays g5. Watch this. That's that attack that we were talking about. King is in the center, but what do we need here for the attack? Look, you have a bishop on f5, pawn on e4, a key player in the attack. Bishop on c7. Queen is coming into the game. Knight is going to get through the f6 and d5 or g4 into the game. And you have a rook and those two pawns here creating the attack, right? So when you are attacking like this, you really have to combine all your pieces, right? Understand what they are doing, right? So that's why this move h5 was kind of unusual, but when you see a game like this, then you will understand those moves a little bit better. You'll see when we continue with the game, then you will really understand what's the reason behind the pawn on h5. Now, g3, another very risky move, right? Because this is allowing black a strong, powerful attack on with a h4, right? h4 is going to happen soon, and opening on the rook of h8. Now, knight f6. Black is giving this pawn. That pawn is not important in this moment because black would just jump to d5 and then queen would recapture on g5 and the game would open. So basically, taking this pawn would be bad for white because the bishop would also get opened. Bishop e2, pawn takes, and h4, and that's what we talked about, right? Suddenly, this pawn that moved to h5 and the rook on h8, they are becoming crucial for this attack, right? Very important pieces for the attack. Queen b3, knight, pawn takes, and then knight goes to d5, right? A logical place for a knight, right? Knight is in the center of the board, and because the black has a control over the center, see, this is what I'm talking about, bishop on f5, pawn on e4, knight on d5. Now open file for a rook, right? Bishop on c7 in attack, and queen will join, right? So it's a complete domination of the center of the board, and that allows you to make an attack. Knight c4, final sacrifice. Alekhine was specialist for those kind of moves, right? He's giving a knight, right? But he's opening the game. Look, you cannot even take that knight because queen would move to h4, right? If you take it, let's say with if you take it with a rook, then bishop would capture. But if you take with a pawn, then two moves would win the game: rook g8 and then queen h4. That would be like winning. But I believe also queen h4 with the idea queen h2 is winning. So that's all queen h4 with the idea rook g8. Everything is winning there, right? You cannot, like after this move, the king is so open. There is no way you can save this kind of game because the king is open. That's why sometimes you have to learn to sacrifice your pieces to open the king. Right? Rook move to e1, queen g5. So queen is coming into the game. Pawn to d5. White is trying for the last chance. He wants to He's attacking the rook, but black plays excellent move, knight e3. He's making an interference, right? He's blocking the queen, and now he's threatening to play on g3. He's even giving this rook here, right? You can take the rook because queen g3 and queen h2 is going to be a checkmate. So this move, and after queen g3, the game finished with a checkmate. So let's see now, let's go back and find the most important ideas. I like to find the moves that I remember, right? I cannot remember the whole game, right? That's impossible, right? To remember all those games. But what you can do is you can remember a good ideas, right? So when you play your own game, then those ideas will come to you. You'll say, oh, wow, I saw this game and I remember, how Alekhine played. So let's see. That's why analyzing those classical games is so important. So let's go from here. Bishop f5, knight d2, e6. I'll tell you where I want to stop. Like all this is, I don't like this move c5. Right? That's where I want to stop a little bit. So c5 actually did not help white at all. And what I want to here is the moment when black is taking the action, right? Black is not making a castling. And if you can start thinking different way, right? To look, Alekhine had a clear plan here. He wanted to attack the king, and that's why he's not making a castling, because he knew that with this move, right, when the pawn gets to e4, right, this rook on h8 is more useful here than after you make a castling. Now, of course, that strategy works because the king on e8 is safe, right? Better to keep this king in the center. And you notice all the way till the end of the game, king stayed in the center. There was no danger for the black king, right? So after this move, h5. This is a kind of move. Of course, white cannot even think of taking this pawn on h5 because queen h4 would win the game immediately, right? f4, and this move. Look how black is up. He doesn't want to take en passant, because if you take en passant, then the knight comes back. Knight comes back and protects the king. Now that's possible, but I like this move what Alekhine played. He's really making a pressure on the king side. Now white could play better moves, better defensive moves here. I mean, definitely this move is not good, because how can it be good? Because it is just allowing black to continue attacking with h4. Right? But look, we cannot. When this game was played, it was, let's see, it was probably 1920s. Yeah, 1922. Right. So that time players probably didn't know much about the defense, and look, but again, still the game is very valuable, right? Look how Alekhine is bringing his pieces into the center. Look at this, knight and file is open for a rook. How he opened, right, the h file, and then final sacrifice on f4, right? A lot of great moves here. Yeah, knight e3, blocking the queen and checkmate. Okay, so now look, of course, this is a complicated game, a lot of moves. But if you want to try, to test your memory, you can go to guess the move right here, and see what can you remember right out of these games. Again, I think that's important, and there is a reason why I put this guess the move here, because when you think on your own about those moves, you get much better understanding of the game, right? One way, it's nice to listen to this, what I'm talking, and I'm talking too much, right? So, but when you are on your own, and you're trying to figure out what are the moves, then you'll see you start understanding the game better. Now, I don't want you to memorize the moves. I don't like studying the chess game and try to memorize the moves. That I don't like, right? I like this critical thinking, right? That you try to find your own ideas. But what's good about guessing the move is trying to understand the game better, right? Trying to understand the moves that you are playing better. So that's why I would like that. Okay. Hey, see you next time. Bye bye.